The QF 6-pounder gun was a British anti-tank weapon developed on the eve of World War II, intended to replace the QF 2-pounder. According to the plan, it would enter service in the early 1940s and gradually replace the 2-pounder. If all went well, the 6-pounder gun would become one of the most powerful specialized anti-tank guns at that time, with an advantage over 37mm and 45mm caliber anti-tank guns. The gun had a 57mm caliber and came with two barrel lengths, 43 and 50 calibers. The latter had a larger muzzle velocity, with a maximum weight of 1.3 tons and an effective range of about 1,500 meters. In addition to being used as a towed anti-tank gun, it was also mounted on armored vehicles such as the Cromwell cruiser tank. The Molins gun was an automatic version of the QF 6-pounder gun, with versions for both the Navy and the Air Force. The automatic gun was developed to meet the need for rapid fire on vehicles and was planned to be installed on vehicles as a self-propelled anti-tank weapon. The Molins company, known for manufacturing cigarette-making machinery, developed the appropriate mechanical devices. However, at the time, the 6-pounder gun was no longer as effective against heavily armored vehicles such as the Tiger tank, so the Army abandoned the Molins gun. Despite this setback, the Navy saw potential in the automatic gun and made some improvements, naming it the 6-pounder QF Mk IIA. The gun used a 43 caliber barrel and was mounted on an Mk7 gun mount, allowing for horizontal rotation and elevation. The gunner sat in a position just forward of the gun with corresponding sighting equipment, and the ammunition handler was located behind the gunner. The automatic loading system of the gun held 6 rounds of reserve ammunition, with 1 round ready to fire in the chamber and an additional 12 rounds stored in an ammunition rack. The ammunition handler could take rounds from the rack and load them into the gun's ammunition slot. The gun operated in a semi-automatic firing mode, using the Navy's own developed non-tracer high-explosive shells at a rate of approximately 40 rounds per minute. When only 1 round was left, the gun was locked to prevent firing, avoiding the need for manual chambering after a shot, as long as the ammunition handler kept up the pace. The gun could rotate 360 degrees, although the firing angle could be limited by the installation position on the ship, with an elevation angle of -10 degrees to 12 degrees, and a maximum range of 6,200 yards, 5,670 meters. The gun had a total production of about 600 units and was considered a highly successful naval secondary gun, capable of effectively engaging targets such as torpedo boats. Following the Navy, the Royal Air Force also saw the potential of the Molins gun and installed it on the Mosquito fighter-bomber aircraft for anti-tank operations. The new aircraft was named the Mosquito FB Mk nicknamed the Tsetse Fly or Mossy. Not long after, the Royal Air Force lost interest in the anti-tank Tsetse Fly, and the RAF Coastal Command took over. About 30 aircraft were built and put into service in 1944, used for anti-ship and anti-submarine patrol operations. One of these aircraft shot down an escorting Ju-88C while attacking the U-boat I-29, which then successfully escaped under the cover of its own escort aircraft. The Air Force version of the 6-pounder gun used a 50 caliber barrel, weighed 487 kilograms, excluding the loading mechanism, and was fully automatic, with a firing rate of about 55 rounds per minute. It carried 21 rounds of ammunition, using a combination of gravity and spring arms for feeding. The gun typically used standard armor-piercing shells, with a muzzle velocity of 890 meters per second, capable of penetrating up to 0.6 meters of water at a range of 1,400 meters. During training, the gun achieved a 33% hit rate against targets the size of tanks, a considerable achievement during World War II. In 1945, the United States conducted tests on the Mosquito FB Mk comparing it to the manually loaded and Mk 575mm gun. Despite the difference in caliber, both weapons were similar in size, and the former had automatic firing capability, allowing for ammunition loading regardless of aircraft maneuvering, making it the superior weapon. Although the Mosquito FB Mk was impressive, it was too complex and bulky, and not all aircraft could carry it. Therefore, the British military only equipped a small number of these aircraft and instead used the more affordable 3-inch rockets, which were easier to carry and could make up for deficiencies in accuracy with quantity.